Isaac's here on Sunday Breakfast on BBC Radio Norfolk. Now, 8 years ago, a fire destroyed the place of worship of the Norwich Family Life Church on Heartsease Lane on the city's outer ring road. But despite losing their building, the church never lost its spirit, and today it reinvents itself with a new name and a new leadership. The doors of the Soul Church officially open for the first time. Their new pastor is Jon Norman. Morning to you, Jon.
Hi, good morning.
You must be really, really excited today, and a big challenge, because we were hearing about you last week when we were advertising the fact this is being relaunched, because you've come from a bit further than this county, haven't you?
That's right. I was originally born in Norfolk, in Thetford, and lived here for the first 20 years, studied here, did all that, and then I headed out to Australia to Bible College, where I connected with Hillsong Church, and then came back to Norwich for a few years and pioneered the Wildlife Youth Ministry. But then we headed over down to Cape Town for 6 years to be part of the Hillsong Church plant there. So we just had a great 6 years there under the leadership of Pastors Phil and Lucinda Dooley, learned amazing things, and God called us back kind of this time last year, really stirred our hearts to come back to the UK and, pioneer a new church.
With regards to this new church, you've actually got quite a challenge to follow in terms of your congregation attendance in your Cape Town church, haven't you, Jon?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it took us a little bit by surprise what happened in Cape Town, but yeah, I think on the first Sunday we had 3,000 people rock up, which was a little bit like the early church, and but it was great and it built. But you know, it's never just about numbers; it's about making sure that people are having connection. Feeling like they're a part of a family. We all say we're a small church with a lot of people, so people don't just become a number in the bigness of it all.
One of the biggest challenges for any church is, even though it's made up of people, the church that now called Soul Church actually lost its building. And whilst you can meet anywhere, and as we know, Jesus talks about the church as the people, not the actual building itself. But it's tough, isn't it, for a church community to actually lose the physical building where they are? Yeah,
absolutely. I think if you just relate it to your normal home, a family living in a home, if their home's taken away, it's going to affect you. Yes, you're still a family, but it affects you, and it has affected the church. And they've been just so amazing the way they've come through it, and I think we're in a third or fourth different buildings since the fire, but God's given everyone strength, kept them together, and we really believe that the best days are in front of us.
You've got a really strong community there. What do you see as some of the challenges for that particular area for you, Jon?
Well, I think change is never easy for any of us, and Chantal and I, we're privileged to stand on the shoulders of the generations that have gone before, and the Pinlock family who've pioneered for the past 50 years into Norwich and Norfolk, and we're just so honoured for that. But I think the biggest challenge is really just taking people on this journey of transition. The message stays the same, but the methods are going to be different. And I think statistics say that most people make a decision for their faith between the ages of 12 and 21. And so, we have to be relevant in how we portray that message to the younger generation. And really, we want to see young people come back to church. And so we're going to be working hard to see that happen.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges for the church in the UK today, Jon, is that attracting of youngsters, because there is so much out there to distract, not necessarily in a negative way, but there are loads of avenues now open to a young person, and faith and church is one of them, but trying to get them in there it can be a real challenge.
Yeah, that's right. And I think church for most young people is a place they go to for the odd wedding and a funeral, and it's a place that they've labelled as boring. And so I believe, Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 10, "I have come that you might have life and live life to the full." And so we just want to create a home of life and of love. And love's magnetic. If you love young people, they'll keep coming back, because they might not be getting love in their school, even in their own home. So if the church can just be love, we might not have all the latest gadgets and gizmos, but if we can just love young people, they'll just keep coming back. So we're really encouraging our leaders, hey, we just got to love these young people for whatever their background, how they speak, how they look, it doesn't matter. We love them just as Christ has loved us.
So in terms of, obviously, Sundays will be the most important days. What are you going to be doing during the week, though, to sort of build up build up those kind of relationships?
Yeah, that's good. Well, to start off, we've been running a children's ministry on the Heartsease and Plumstead estates the last 19 years called Adventurers. And Mark and Sharon Hollinger, who've been heading it up, just done a phenomenal job. And we really had it on our hearts to lay a bus on transport from those areas. And so we're going to be busing people into church from today. So there's going to be a not a double-decker, but a big coach laid on for those guys to bring people into church today. So that's a start. And we just want to take our time in setting up new ministries. But obviously young people are on our hearts, especially, sort of teenagers as well, and the young adults age group, which is the university. So we're going to be going onto the university campus, being really active there, again helping the students if they need transport, whatever we can to really accommodate them during their stay in Norwich. So yeah, we're just going to take our time though. We don't want to rush it, we want to do it well.
If we're sitting here in 12 months' time, Jon, what will you have wanted to have achieved?
That's a good question. And I hope we've created a home that everyone feels welcome in. We've got a big sign up outside our church. The first thing you see is a big sign that says Jesus, hope of the world. But the second sign you'll see is welcome home, because we want everyone to feel home. A lot of people, they might have a physical home, but they might not have a spiritual home. And so I pray that when people come in, they'll find a spiritual home. So if we're sitting here in 12 months, I hope that many people will have found a place they can call home.
You've travelled a lot, Jon. You're staying for the moment, though.
Yeah,
you're back in your county.
We put our roots down. The only thing I would say is that we've got a real heart for this nation. We have a huge heart for Norwich, but we have a heart for the nation. And our prayer in time to come is that Soul Church would spread its wings. One of the cities we're really interested in is Liverpool, and God's really placed that on our heart. And so who knows how Soul Church will spread its wings, and we just want to see people find Jesus and find hope in him.
It'll be an exciting time. Jon Norman, pastor of Soul Church, we wish you every success.
Thank you.
And will you come back in a year's time and let us know what's happened?
I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. It's 8:30. The latest BBC Radio Norfolk news headlines come from Amy Barrett.